Hi, welcome to my channel. Stop giving reality the option of the undesirable. So what you don't want, stop giving it that option. Stop giving your subconscious the choice to choose the worst case scenario. So how do you stop that? What the hell am I talking about? This is what we tend to do. When we want something, we're not just focused on that. And actually, a lot of the time, we're not focused on that at all. We're focused on all of the reasons it isn't happening and what the other scenarios are. We tend to focus on those more. And then what we do is we open up that reality. That is what we want. It isn't what we want, but we're not bringing ourselves back to what we do want. So the key, the absolute key for me has been this. I know I talk about acceptance a lot, but I'm talking about acceptance of what you can see at the moment. You have to do that. It's there. There's no point in fighting with it. You've got to accept that it is what it is in this moment. It's a temporary reflection of your inner state. That's it. And I will always accept that. But that doesn't mean I have to accept an undesirable future. It doesn't mean I have to accept the worst case scenario. It doesn't mean I have to accept substandard. It doesn't mean I have to accept anything that I don't want. And I am not going to keep focused on the frequency I want if I keep going back to what I don't want and saying to reality, actually, you could give me this, this, and this. I don't want it, but you can give it to me anyway. This is what I want, but I'm not going to bring any focus to what I want. I'm going to give all of the focus to what I don't want. So it can only read what you're doing. It can only read how you feel and what your inner state is in that moment. So if your inner state is mostly on the worst case scenario and all of the reasons why this can't happen, are really fixated on current 3D reality. So not accepting it, just fixated on it and trying to change it and mend it, it is different. That's not accepting it. That's fighting with it. That's resisting it. We don't want any resistance. We don't want fight here. What we want is acceptance of what we can see at the moment, because there's nothing we can do about it. In this moment, what you can see is what you can see. So what is the point in fighting with it? Ask yourself that question. It will be here anyway. If I fight with it, it will be here and it will stay for longer. And if I don't fight with it, it will be here. So what do I choose? And that's really helpful, actually, to choose the acceptance. The way that you do it is this: is you keep bringing yourself back to what you want, because what you want is a frequency. If you try to think in terms of frequency or energy, whatever works for you best, or vibration, but I think vibration doesn't work for a lot of people. If you look at it as frequency, everything is a frequency, everything is on a frequency. But I would also say that everything in your reality is on a frequency that's unique to you, because something that you might feel is hugely negative, somebody else might not. So their frequency of that thing is going to be different than your frequency. Not everything in your life is going to be the same frequency as it is for someone else, but it doesn't matter about anybody else. It only matters about you. So if you think about things in terms of frequency, every time you go to the undesirable and the scenarios you don't want and what's getting on your nerves about current reality, that's the frequency. So you're on that frequency then. So you're aligning with the frequency of what you don't want. And what you want to do is align with the frequency of what you do want. And what I do with this is just push every other scenario out of my head. I did it recently with something, didn't even involve me, it involved someone else. And again, I just would only accept one version of events. I could see that the others were possibilities, but I wasn't accepting those possibilities as what I was going to see in my reality. And it's worked out exactly. And I've done this so often that I just kind of know when I do it. My mind will still say, yeah, but this might be the time when it doesn't. But I really get a strong feeling like I don't see what else can happen now, because I've chosen and I feel it powerful and I feel that I've pushed everything else to the side and I will only accept this. And mostly with the things when I do that, it's kind of like time imperative. So it's something happening at a certain time. So it's really fast as well. But then I'm also practicing doing it with everything at the moment. So even the smaller things, that takes some practice, because often when it's a smaller thing, you can accept the opposite. There's a couple of things at the moment that I can easily accept the opposite of what I want quite easily. And then, so that's quite hard then to go, okay, how am I going to tap into that universal energy that is going to allow me to get what I actually want when I'm actually not as bothered? So that's more of a trick and a skill. It's not a trick, it's a skill to learn. So I am practicing with that at the moment, because I want to be able to do it with absolutely everything. I can do it with most things now. I used to just be able to do it with the big things, because I think, no, I do not entertain any opposite scenarios. No. And I have no fear of failure with that, because I used to get this thing where I go, but what if? And then I'll think it isn't true, and no, it's not real if it doesn't happen. So I wouldn't put that much conviction to anything. But now I just just do it anyway. I think, well, what harm can it do? I'd rather feel like this. I'd rather feel the best case scenario. I'd rather feel it, even if it's completely unlikely. There is no such thing as unlikely. That's the thing. There is no such thing as unlikely. Unlikely is only if you tell yourself something is unlikely, then it's unlikely, but it's not really, because why is it? You're just choosing a version of reality to experience every single time. All the time you're doing it, and you're choosing a reality right now, and you're experiencing the one that you've chosen right now. So you can change that and experience something different. So unlikely just does not come into it, in my opinion. Unlikely is only, if you say something's unlikely, what you're doing is basing it on current circumstances. So then you're saying, my circumstances matter, because this is unlikely because, and you're basing that on a set of circumstances. But if you completely disregard circumstances as part of this reality, but not part of your new reality, that's how you can get around that. I don't ever consider a circumstance at all. It's not, it doesn't come into it. I don't think, oh, this will mean this can't happen, this is going to be hard because of this. It does not come into it at all anymore for me. And if you keep thinking like that and think in terms of purely frequency, it doesn't matter what else is going on, because if you're on the frequency of what it is that you want, you have to see that show up at some point. And when I say on the frequency, I don't mean kind of just thinking about it, thinking it would be nice, and then going straight back to all of the reasons that it probably won't happen, because then that's your frequency, your dominant frequency on any particular subject. So when you feel yourself going there, you just bring yourself back. But then you can't fixate on time, because then that is your frequency. Oh, time is going on and nothing's happening. So you have to just, if you're going to fixate on anything, and I suppose I do in a way because I do have an obsessive personality, fixate on the frequency of what it is that you want. And that is bringing yourself to that, go, this is what I choose. This is my preference. This is what I want. And stick rigidly to that. That is your persistence in that respect. Well, I'm thinking about it anyway. So I'm thinking about the stuff I don't want. So why don't I bring myself to what I do want? That's not being delusional. It's just saying, I want this. This is the frequency of it. So this is how I get it. And then you just keep doing that. So eventually you'll just notice you don't go to that stuff that doesn't serve you. You just don't go to it anymore. That's what I found. Rarely, I do sometimes, but really rarely, I can easily just bring myself back and go, nope. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be wonderful. I mean, I had a week last week where just everything went wrong. Everything, literally from, Thursday through to Sunday. One thing after another, to the point where when I was with my mum on Thursday and stuff was happening, we started laughing because it was so ridiculous. I said, this is like the Truman Show. It's seriously like the Truman Show. People were appearing out of nowhere to cause us problems, and it was really funny. At the end of the day, we could laugh at it. I don't think my mum would have laughed at it if I wasn't laughing at it. But, that comes up because there's all sorts of stuff going on inside of us. We can't unpick everything, can we? And we are never going to be in a good mood all of the time. We're never going to be feeling great all of the time. So often we are going to be on a frequency of lack, a frequency of frustration, disappointment, because we're human beings and we can't help that. So life is not ever going to be perfect, but if we can understand that it's all about frequency, we can make sure that more of the time it's good. So it might be peppered with stuff that we don't like, but not the stuff that we don't like all of the time. Right, I hope this is useful. I'm an author, mindset coach, self-concept coach, and manifestation coach.